Cigarette and Soil 1-year time-lapse 8K. Time-lapses are the most satisfying videos to watch on YouTube. You've probably watched one of those beautiful sunrise to sunset or city growing over the years time-lapses. In this video, we take a look at some fantastic, never seen before time-lapses. If you're someone who loves watching time-lapse videos, then this one is going to be entertaining and will help you kill some time. So without wasting any more time, let's dig right in. The first video we have is of what happens to shrimp when you leave it open for over 1 month. Now, we do not recommend keeping shrimp out in the open for a month. You don't want to deal with the smell of decaying fish. Anyway, as you can see in this video, within the first day, the shrimp loses its freshness and becomes shriveled. By the 6th day, our shrimp loses weight and you can see all the fluids oozing out of our fish. We can't imagine how horrible this fish will smell if we were in the same room. By the first week, we can't see any drastic changes in our fish, but by this time, the shrimp isn't suitable for even your pet cat. By the 10th day, we notice the shrimp slowly changing color. The shrimp loses its orange hue and there's a dark tinge slowly appearing below the head. By the 2nd week, our shrimp doesn't look like shrimp anymore, and it's best to flush it down the toilet. By week 3, we can see our shrimp turning black. The head of the shrimp has completely blackened by now. Finally, after 1 month, we get to see the plate of shrimp. It sits in this weird yellowish fluid on the plate. The man decides to open the shrimp and we finally get to see if the flesh inside the shell has survived or not. Eating a 1-month-old shrimp that was left out in the open is certainly not a good idea, but would love to hear your thoughts on the shrimp. Let us know in the comments below. Now, the following clip that we'll be looking at is even more enjoyable. Let's take a look. Okay, this next one is interesting. What happens when you dig a cigarette in the soil for 1 year? It probably degrades, right? Well, here you can see this man place 3 cigarettes in a mason jar full of soil and leave it for a year. The countdown for this time lapse is in minutes, which can be deceptive since you can't guess how many days have passed. Well, right after the cigarette is placed in the soil, you can see it starts degrading almost immediately. This is because the soil is alive and has plenty of living organisms such as microorganisms and worms that help it to decompose any dead or non-living things. Cigarettes, which are made of paper and dried tobacco leaves, are easy to decompose compared to, say, something like plastic. The decomposition process starts almost immediately, and within a few days, the cigarette completely loses its outer white paper coating. Once that outer coating disappears, it doesn't take long for the rest of the cigarette to decompose. You can see that after a month, almost all 3 cigarettes have lost their outer coating. The cigarettes have also lost their shape and it looks like they are slowly shredding to pieces. After 150 days, the cigarette sticks have started to disintegrate. By the 220th day, the cigarettes have received significant damage and are just a fragment of their former self. The 3rd cigarette in the bottle has almost decomposed and is slowly starting to disappear. The only noticeable thing is the head of the cigarette. When 300 days have passed, we can finally see how much of the cigarettes have decomposed. All 3 cigarettes have almost turned to soil, and it's only a matter of days before the entire cigarette disappears. At the end of the year, we get a glimpse of what happens to cigarettes. We can see the cigarettes are still in the jar, but how much have they decomposed? The man opens the jar to allow us to better see what happened to the cigarettes. He takes out the soil from the jar and pulls out the cigarette butt from the soil. He finally pulls out all 3 cigarettes and shows us what remains of the 3 cigarettes. We can see that they've all blackened after being covered by the soil for a year. Now, this time-lapse video gives us a bit of perspective when it comes to decomposition. However, what struck me the most about this video is not the result of what happened to the cigarettes, but the sheer dedication and patience of the YouTuber. Filming a cigarette in a bottle of soil for a year is not easy and requires a lot of dedication and storage. You need to take high-resolution photos every day for a year just to create a 4-minute time-lapse. I want to hear your thoughts about this video. Let us know in the comments. Our final clip is about what happens to a glass of Red Bull if you keep it in the open for 60 days. The man fills a glass with Red Bull and adds ice and a straw. He then leaves it in the open for 60 days. For the first week, we see no major difference. However, after the first week has passed, we see the Red Bull developing dark spots, suggesting the Red Bull is slowly disintegrating. After the first dark spots start to appear, it doesn't take long for the entire glass of Red Bull to catch the infection. By the end of the second month, we see the entire glass turn black and the Red Bull slowly disappear. At the end of the video, we see just the Red Bull syrup remaining with all the fluid disappearing. Will you ever want to drink Red Bull again after watching this video? Let me know in the comments below. Well guys, that's all for this video. We hope you enjoyed watching some surreal time lapses. If you did enjoy this video and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell for the latest notifications and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.